It's sad that people can't even get on the bus anymore.
A shooting at a bus stop, changing the lives of a family forever.
He always had a smile on his face. He loved little children. He loved babies.
And tonight we are hearing from the family of that 15-year-old as the search for who is responsible continues.
Plus, car thieves in Colorado striking again.
I worked my butt off for years. It's a huge hit.
What else was taken from a local musician before his next gig and how you can help him out?
Yeah, we're reminiscing this and that and having such a good time.
And first tonight, we start with a family's plea for help after a 15-year-old boy was shot while at a bus stop in Denver and later died.
Denver 7's Colette Bordelon joins us live, and you spoke with his aunt. She says somebody has to know something here.
That's their plea for this. They want those answers. The family of Edward Armijo Preciado says they're devastated after almost a week without any of those answers. I talked with his great aunt, who says he lived with her for over a year. She's sharing his story tonight, hoping it serves as a wake-up call for the entire community.
As the day winds down in Denver,
Right now we're heading home. Just had a long day.
the traffic passing by the corner of 31st and Downing might miss the lives that were changed on the sidewalk.
It's sad that people can't even get on the bus anymore.
It happened on Wednesday of last week, just after 9 p.m.
Sorry, I meant to be strong.
Deb Sinna is Edward Armijo Preciado's great aunt.
He was 15 years old, getting ready to be 16. He always had a smile on his face.
Almost a week later, sitting with her family at the intersection after the sun set.
Oh, we were in the dark. What happened to him? You know, he just took his girlfriend to the movies. That's what we knew.
She told us what she knows about a day that feels like it won't end.
He had been shot. They told us fell away from his feet to his head 8 times.
Sena says he was with his teenage girlfriend and her sister when they were shot at by another pedestrian.
Look at all the cars passing by. All these cars, they wouldn't stop.
Preciado was taken to the hospital where the family held out hope.
On Saturday afternoon, we were told that he was brain dead. There was so much prayer going on that we hoped there'd be a miracle. Well, there was a miracle. He went home.
Still, no arrests have been made.
There's gotta be footage. I mean, I took pictures of over 30 cameras that are here.
A family determined to find out who took away their teenager.
Please, Majito is not gonna die in vain. He isn't. I wanna make sure that this doesn't happen to no one else's kids.
Because as a day comes to an end in Denver, it only means another night without answers.
Denver police are asking anyone who has information about what happened at 31st and Downing last Wednesday, October 5th, around 9 p.m. to call Metro Denver Crime Stoppers at 720-913-STOP. Callers can remain anonymous and could earn up to a $2,000 reward. Live in the studio, Colette Bordelon, Denver 7.
Thank you, Colette. Very sad. One person is dead, and this evening 3 others remain hospitalized after deputies say a driver ran his truck through a crowd of people outside a bar in Golden Sunday morning.
And this morning, the suspects made their first court appearance. Deputies say Ruben Marquez was behind the wheel and faces several charges, including first-degree murder and vehicular assault. The owner of that truck, Ernesto de Jesus Avila, also facing charges, including being an accessory and leaving the scene of an accident involving death. Today, Denver 7 CB Cotton spoke with Mike Folkemer, who identified his son as one of those injured. And the father says his son's been a manager at that bar for about a year now.
All he remembers is the fact that he was standing and he took one step to one side, he said, and that's when he was hit.
And you can read all about this story right now on denver7.com.
A 14-year-old is now safe and being evaluated after she was seen leaving a Boulder High football game September 30th. Boulder police tell us the teen was found at a home in Thornton, and they say it appears she ran away, but investigators are still looking into her case. During a news conference today, Boulder PD spoke about why there was no Amber Alert issued, and officers say they did not believe she was abducted and did not meet the criteria for an alert. The road for a local touring musician just got a lot bumpier after thieves stole his car.
And what was in his car could stall his career. Here's Denver 7's Patrick Perez.
It's a heck of an instrument.
With a simple strum of his guitar, there's no questioning why Derek Damesol became a musician.
It's been going really great, honestly, it has.
That is until the 28-year-old Boulder native had his car stolen last week.
Since that's happened, it's put a standstill on how I can make my money and how I just go about living my life. Robin Hood and Lil John Walker.
Derek says he had parked his car outside his buddy's home on 29th and Java in Denver late Wednesday night after a gig. They played some tunes on the front porch into the morning hours before going to sleep.
I went to bed looking at my car and woke up and walked out the next day and was just like, you know, so it was a dude, where's my car moment that didn't end well.
His 2017 white Kia Soul, similar to the one pictured here, was gone. Inside, almost all of the gear he uses to perform and make a living.
It's like $3,000 to $5,000 worth of equipment, yeah.
To make matters worse, Derek says the gear that was in his car was not insured. And the car insurance that he does have, he worries it's just not going to be enough to cover the cost to replace his car.
The one thing I was lucky that I took out that night was my guitar.
And no matter how talented Derek is at playing this guitar, he knows without his gear and a car to get him to his gigs, his future as an Americana singer-songwriter is in jeopardy.
How long can I go borrowing people's cars and borrowing people's gear?
But he has faith in his music career and in others, as luck has gotten him this far.
The world has a weird way of helping things work out in the end, even if the end is a little bit farther out than you might want it to be.
Patrick Perez, Denver 7.
And since this is obviously a difficult situation for Derek, Denver 7 Gives is stepping in. You can help replace his stolen equipment by donating at our website, denver7.com/gives. Just click on the drop-down menu and select Musician's Car and Equipment Stolen.
We dug deeper tonight into car thefts in Denver. This is something, as you know, we've been talking about for weeks now. According to Denver police records, so far this year, there have been about 11,700 reports of stolen vehicles. That's just 500 short of last year's total, 12,200 last year. And of course, we still have 3 months left to go in this year. Well, new tonight, Aurora City Council making moves to try to deter catalytic converter thefts.
The city passed an ordinance classifying catalytic converters as secondhand property. Well, Denver 7's Jessica Porter is joining us to explain what exactly that means.
We've covered these catalytic converter thefts pretty extensively here on Denver 7. And this is going to be a small administrative step by the Aurora City Council that they hope will make a difference for the thousands of residents who have had their catalytic converter stolen. Now, those exhaust emission control devices are a hot resale item because of the precious metals inside. Now, any catalytic converter sold to a secondhand merchant in Aurora will have to be logged into an online reporting system called Leads Online. Council members are hoping reporting these transactions will crack down on thefts. Aurora police tell us 2,485 Coloradans had their catalytic converters stolen last year, a 1,500% increase from 2019. Aurora City Council members are encouraging other cities to make the same move, and Denver has passed a similar ordinance in August, requiring shop owners who buy used catalytic converters to provide the seller's ID and license plate to the city within 1 business day. Aurora City Council says criminal and administrative actions will be taken against stores that don't comply with reporting. Live in the studio, Jessica Porter, Denver 7.
All right, Jessica. Look now at Denver International's arrival time. So you can see we have some flights delayed that are coming in this evening. And this comes after the DIA website was one of the major airport websites across the country hit by a cyber attack. We now know the attacks began about 11 this morning. The DIA says they are continuing. Officials say the attackers supposedly are just trying to overwhelm the airport sites so it becomes unavailable to the public. DIA says the attacks have not been successful, and TSA and CISA and other airports are aware. And a heads up, if you are heading out to the airport, 7 more airline check-in counters are temporarily moving over the next couple of days. The airlines are the ones there on your screen. So those will move to the southwest side of level 6 of the terminal. DIA's other airlines have already moved to either the southwest or southeast sides of the terminal. It's so the airport can work on building new security checkpoints.
A Democratic-leaning group that sent out a voter guide to Republican voters is facing a fine from the Secretary of State's office. Back in June, we first told you about political parties crying foul against the other for not disclosing who was behind some of the flyers and ads. Well, today we learned Progress Now agreed to pay a $16,000 fine. In a statement writing, we accept the judgment from the Secretary of State and reiterate that the origin of the voter guide was publicly available. According to the Elections Division, the disclaimer statement didn't identify a registered agent. Denver voters will have their say in November on whether homeowners should have to pay for improved sidewalks.
A ballot initiative is asking property owners to pay an annual fee to cover the improvements. The fee would depend on the size of your property. The average homeowner would pay about $107 a year. Some low-income residents would get a discount.
You as a property owner never have to worry about being a construction manager, getting hit with thousands and thousands of dollars of construction fees or repairs for your sidewalk. And then we have a better, more connected city.
And advocates argue that if sidewalk improvements become the city's responsibility, that trip-fall lawsuits would then shift from the responsibility of homeowners to the city. Opponents still argue these fees are going to be a burden for low-income families.
Check out the new ballot boxes that are said to be a first of a kind because it's a shared box. That means those eligible to vote in Adams, Arapahoe, and Denver counties can drop off their ballots in one of these boxes. The tri-branded drop box is said to be ready for the upcoming midterm election, and clerks from all 3 counties say the boxes will be monitored 24/7 to make sure that every vote is secure. Now, speaking of the midterms, here are some dates to remember that I found on the Secretary of State's website. October 17th is the first day ballots for the general election can be mailed out, and you should have already received a blue book. And Election Day is November 8th, and polls will open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The name Mount Evans may change. The Colorado Geographic Naming Advisory Board will begin hearings tomorrow.
The peak is named after Territorial Governor John Evans, who resigned in 1865 for his role in the Sand Creek Massacre. Hundreds of Cheyenne and Arapaho died, and many of them were women and children. Well, the Southern Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes have proposed a new name, Mount Blue Sky, to honor the indigenous people of Colorado. Ready, set, shop.
Another Prime Day this week means deals and maybe even not the good kind of steals.
It was just shocking to see this happen.
One woman's story and video after her packages were taken right off her porch.
It's hurtful and disturbing.
It was a gorgeous fall day all across Colorado. We have more of the same in store for the week weather-wise. I'll let you know our next chance for rain coming up.